sure that they try. Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Gaurnitai ki, Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurana Vipanya Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Radhishtam Sakitamena Bhutale Svam Bhaktamayam Dati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Radha Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sarvajatam Sahaganata Tam 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 Shri Sadevam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaura Hari Priye Anchakalpatrabhya Kripa Sindhubhya Ivacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. Good morning, this fresh November morning. My notes are there, so I think I will have to mind. Thank you. Thank you. Jump. Sorry for that. Hope it's not an inauspicious sign. So, this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, the Summum Bonum, and chapter is 89. Sorry? It's the last one before last. So, the last one is summary of Lord Krishna's glories, and this one, I guess Prabhupada, or I don't know how it was named, but it's called Krishna and Arjuna Retrieve a Brahmana's Sons. And it's interesting that Prabhupada gives it a different title in Krishna book, something super excellent qualities of Lord Krishna. And we'll say a little bit about that. Same chapter, and Prabhupada had a different title. So there's a full summary, and I will make a short summary when we start the class. But today we'll be reading text 1 and 2. And 2 is on the board. So I will chant verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Sarasvatyashtate Rajan Rishaya Satraman Asata Vitrakah Samabhutesham Trishvad Dibsheshu Komahan. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, "Once, O king, as a group of sages were performing a Vedic sacrifice on the banks of the Saraswati river, a controversy arose among them as to which of the three chief deities is supreme." And purport is just a sentence. The three chief deities mentioned here are Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. Okay, so before we chant text 2, just let's offer obeisances to Bhagavatam. Sorry, I forgot. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasya Gignasyate Vai. Tasya Gignasayate Vai. Brigum Brahma Sutam Dripa. Tajgnaptyai Preshayamasu. Sobhyagat Brahmana Sabham. Tasya Jignasaya Devai Rigum Brahma Sutam Nripa Tajgnaptyai Preshayamasu Sobhyagat Brahmana Sabham. Please chant.
Tasya Yasaya Devai Rigum Brahma Sutam Nripa Tajñapyai Presayam Asaha Sobhyagat Brahmana Sabham
Ladies. Tasya Vinyasaya Devai Rigum Brahma Sutam Ripa Tajñaptyai Preshayamasu Sobhyagat Brahmana Sabham. Tasya. About this. Jignasaya. With the desire of knowing. Te. They. Vai. Indeed. Brigum. Brigumuni. Brahma Sutam. Son of Brahma. Nripa. O King. Tat. This. Jnaptai. To find out. Preshayam Asu. Asu. They sent. Sa. He. Abhyagat. Went. Brahmana. What does that mean? Of Lord Brahma. Sabham. To the court. Translation. Yes. Let's hear. Eager to resolve this question, O King, the sages sent Lord Brahma's son Bhrigu to find the answer. First he went to his father's court. Purport. As Srila Prabhupada explains in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the plan decided upon by the sages was for Bhrigu to test which of the predominating deities possessed the quality of goodness in full. End of quote. One who is in the mode of goodness possesses such qualities as tolerance and equanimity, whereas those conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance are prone to easily lose their temper. So this is the new chapter where a very interesting pastime is described. This is Shukadeva Goswami speaking to King Parikshit, describing the pastime of these sages who were performing sacrifice on the banks of river Saraswati. And Prabhupada starts the Krishna book chapter by long time ago. Felt it was so interesting. So, and he mentions actually that this yagya was called Satra, which is interesting. I didn't find this in other sources that I was reading. So the pastime goes that the sages who were there performing the yagya, this is usually the time when big discussions were happening. The sages would gather, do a sacrifice, and then they would exchange, questions and discuss, have debates and so on. So this was one particular time when they tried to find out who of the three predominating deities in this universe, who actually take care of all the affairs in the world, everything in the universe, not just the world, everything that's happening. But who is actually the one who is the supreme? So they couldn't find the answer, and they decided, why don't we send Bhrigu Muni, who is the son of Lord Brahma? He must be qualified. So let's send him to find out. And for some reason or other, there was a very unusual way to test this that Bhrigu Muni used. And this was to create an offense towards each one of these three predominating deities. And it seems logical, right? Because if you make an offense, you can see how a person will react. So we will hear about that, how the three personalities actually reacted. And Prabhupada also describes that the offenses can be of different kinds. So one can be a mental offense, when somebody is offensive in the mind. There can be a verbal offense, when there's actually speech which is offensive. And the third one is bodily offense, when somebody actually, creates some, violence of some sort on the bodily level, or severe disrespect. So Bhrigu Muni first went to Brahmaloka, to his father's court. And when he saw his father, the natural thing is, as a son, he's a junior, so naturally he would offer obeisances and even offer prayers. But this time, he didn't do that. He just came there and not even bowing down, nor offering prayers, he just came in front of his father. And Brahma, of course, got agitated within, because this was highly inappropriate. These things wouldn't happen in Brahmaloka to Lord Brahma. And now his son actually does something so unusual. So Brahma started to get very agitated within and almost wanted to curse Bhrigu Muni. But then it is described that somehow or other, by the use of his intelligence, he could curb his passion. If you remember, Lord Brahma is the predominating deity of the mode of passion. So with the use of his intelligence, he could understand, okay, I shouldn't curse my son. This wouldn't be good. And there's also an analogy described how as the water is in the time of creation created from fire, also the water is the one which extinguishes fire. So the same way Bhrigu Muni was created by Lord Brahma, but he also was the one who actually managed to subdue his anger like that. So that was the exchange between Bhrigu Muni and Lord Brahma. So Bhrigu Muni decided the next he should go to Lord Shiva. So he went to Kailash, where Lord Shiva was residing, and he was his brother. Interesting, Bhrigu Muni is brother of Lord Shiva. So naturally, out of affection, Shiva came forward to embrace Bhrigu Muni. But Bhrigu Muni didn't want, he rejected his embrace, and he said, "You're impure." Well, there's two things that I have found. Prabhupada says that he offended him by saying that you're impure, I don't want to touch you, I don't want to embrace you. So this was a severe verbal offense towards his brother. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he called him deviant heretic. So deviant heretic, like somebody who is deviating from his path, from the path. So definitely very offensive verbally. So this was even more severe offense. And indeed, Lord Shiva saw the offense and he got really angry, really, really furious. So he rose his trident to actually kill Brigamuni, his brother. And by God's arrangement, Parvati Devi was there, his consort, and she actually came in front of Lord Shiva and said, please, and she pacified him with her words. So in this way, Brigamuni escaped the severe punishment for his verbal offense towards Lord Shiva, who is actually the predominating deity mode of ignorance. So he could not control his anger until Parvati Devi, who is actually, she's called Trigunya, and that means that she has all the modes present, but in this time she was in the mode of goodness, so she could prevent this harsh act as a result of the offense. So this was the experience in Kailash. And then the third part of this testing, so Brigamuni went to Vaikuntha, to the planet Shvetadvip, where Lord Vishnu was residing. And that was just at the time when Lord Vishnu was lying on the bed of flowers in a very intimate moment with Lakshmi Devi. So it was actually she was massaging the Lord's feet, and Brigamuni just came in, not offering obeisances, no respectful words, but literally kicked the Lord with his foot on the chest. So bodily offense, very severe, much more severe than the mental and the verbal offense that was done before. And now the surprising part comes, how Lord Vishnu actually reacts towards Brigamuni. Lord Vishnu stands up, quickly goes from his bed together with Lakshmi Devi, and he starts apologizing to Brigamuni. He starts apologizing, how is it that I'm sorry that I couldn't properly receive you. I'm sorry that I couldn't, immediately come down. This is terrible offense. You are so pure. You can purify the whole Vaikuntha planet just with the feet which washed your feet, with the water which washed your feet. Please come sit down. So he offered him a seat. And then he started to explain. So we can see here that actually Lord Vishnu didn't take this offense very seriously, even though it was a very serious offense. He touched his foot, not just touched, but he kicked Lord on the chest. And but it is Prabhupada describes in Krishna book how Lakshmi Devi didn't take it so easily, and because Brigamuni was a Brahmana, this is the time from when Lakshmi Devi doesn't reside with Brahmanas much. It's not. That's why many times Brahmanas are poor, because she took some offense on that part. And so the Lord even apologized to Brigamuni because his chest is so hard and the lotus foot the foot of Brigamuni is so soft as a lotus. So he even apologized for his chest being so hard. So he offered to massage his feet. So he actually massaged Brigamuni's feet out of respect. And then he said something really interesting. He said, that because of the touch of your foot on my chest, now I'm convinced that Lakshmi Devi will always reside on my chest. Because Prabhupada says Lakshmi Devi is chanchala, which means she comes and she goes. So sometimes you have people who are very rich, but then after a few generations, the dynasty becomes poor. Or the opposite, a poor man all of a sudden becomes really rich. So she's like chanchala in the material world. But in the spiritual world, she always resides on the chest of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu even said, until now it was not like that, but now since your lotus foot touched my chest, she will always reside. So incredible humility. So imagine what Brigamuni did after that. He was speechless. He didn't know what to say. He was completely flabbergasted or complete wonder. He didn't know what to do, and he felt so much gratitude in his heart for Lord Vishnu. So this was an amazing exchange and very, very surprising. Of course, Prabhupada immediately writes that Brigamuni committed this grievous offense just to see and test if Lord Vishnu was in the mode of goodness. but he actually noticed that he didn't display only mode of goodness, but actually transcendental mode of goodness. He behaved in a way that was just out of, just so surprising. Prabhupada offers an example of the small lamp. If a small lamp is agitated by breeze very quickly, right? But if you have the biggest lamp in the universe, the sun, if the sun cannot be agitated even by a tsunami, it cannot be at all moved, never. Even hurricane comes, but the sun will never be agitated. So the same way Lord displayed this complete grounding and not agitation, because he's above the modes. So and also if we look at it, it's actually an amazing display of culture and respect that the Lord showed to Bhrigu Muni, how devotees are being respected in Vaikuntha. So there is a very familiar sentence that Prabhupada states in this purport, in this part of the Krishna book. If you remember, he says, one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. So this is a very famous quote that we hear from Prabhupada. Anyhow, I just wanted to say that then Bhrigu Muni came back to the sages, and he just told what happened. They were, listening to all the narrations that Bhrigu Muni had to share. And they concluded that indeed Vishnu is the supreme. And that Vishnu Dharma is actually the one which we should follow. And they all apparently then started to worship Lord Vishnu, perform pure devotional service, and in this way attained perfection. So this is a perfect example of how we see that if one gets agitated, this actually means there's some things that one has to deal with, and there's some modes present where basically a person is being taken away by either anger, passion, ignorance, the same as it happened with Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, even though they're such exalted devotees. And Prabhupada says here how actually sages responded when they heard. They said that actually one who wants fearlessness and peace in life has to take shelter of Lord Vishnu. But then we can wonder, what is first? Is it first that one needs to take shelter of Lord Vishnu and worship him and or the Lord Krishna, and establish relationship with the Lord? Or is it that one first has to cultivate mode of goodness and become peaceful within and develop all the good qualities? I'm wondering if there is some thoughts on that. What comes first? Whether we first meditating on taking shelter of the Lord, or is it that we first need to cultivate the mode of goodness by arranging our life so that we will be more peaceful, and therefore we can take shelter of the Lord? If there's any thoughts on that. What comes first? Yes, Mother Yudra.
I don't know how you can be fearless without taking shelter of Krishna. There's no way, goodness is not going to help us.
So you're saying
There's no shelter.
we cannot be fearless if we don't take shelter. So we cannot actually attain this stage of goodness unless we take shelter. Thank you.
Sometimes it's said, first become conscious.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's said, first become conscious and then become Krishna conscious. That could be.
Could be a way to understand it. Nice. So meaning, first realize what you're doing, how you're living, and then you can actually aspire to become Krishna conscious in some way. Yes.
I think that if you're really in the mode of ignorance, you wouldn't really come across Krishna consciousness, for example. So I think it's a balance, and so I think you need to be a little bit in the mode of goodness, or like a little bit, conscious, what Mataji also said, in order to take shelter of Vishnu, I think.
So if we are in mode of ignorance, even if an amazing opportunity comes and we receive prasadam or a book, we might not be able to relish it or even taste it, because we wouldn't be open for that. Even though the power might be so great, but we might feel the effect, but maybe it wouldn't last very long unless we aspire to get above, or out of mode of ignorance. Thank you. Good point. Yeah, Chakra. Thank you.
That's a really nice topic to discuss.
Really?
Can give a whole seminar on this one.
Yeah, I think
So one thing is that I would say it's both. First of all, where does bhakti start? That's actually the question. We discussed, Yadurani and myself were exchanging a little bit on that one. And it's first of all by the desire of another devotee that you become a devotee, or you come in contact with Krishna consciousness. So that's pure mercy, pure grace that you receive. So then you are touched by bhakti, and then your path starts. Jai Sri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. On the other hand, it's also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that if you did not amass enough pious activities in your past, and if you did not eradicate sinful activities, then the determination for bhakti will not start. So why am I saying this? Because first of all, initiating into bhakti is by the mercy of another devotee, but seriously applying it in your life depends also on your previous samskaras. And additionally, we could say the quality of goodness or the quality of forgiveness is a byproduct of advancing in bhakti. They automatically come. So first it's Krishna, and then the qualities come. At the same time, Prabhupada says in the 19th verse of the 12th chapter of the Gita, when he repeats all the qualities that Krishna says, if you develop these qualities, including forgiveness, you are very dear to me. And in the purport, Prabhupada says there might be some repetition in the good qualities mentioned here by Krishna, but that is to emphasize that the devotee must cultivate all these qualities. So it's an automatic byproduct of progressing in bhakti, but at the same time it's homework. So that's, for me, that's very important, that it's not just, I just chant Hare Krishna. No, you also work on it, Humility is also a work in progress. Tolerance is work in progress. Forgiveness is an active deed of intelligence. And so I would say it's both.
Thank you. And you were very elaborately, and I think, like you say, maybe there's a class on that coming, because it is very, very like a wide topic. Thank you. That was very much. You wanted to say something? Yes, Mother Yadurani.
About this mode of goodness and the connection of mode of goodness to absolute result, so-called bhakti result. So there is in the Krishna book the story of King Riga, who was extremely pious, was very, very pious. He was giving and giving and giving, but then he made a mistake, unknowingly, and then he was cursed for that, and then he got cursed to become a lizard. So then you think, okay, what is the result? But he came in contact with Krishna, but they said that actually he didn't come in contact with Krishna because of his pious activities. In one sense it was because of his pious activities, because he was so good and he was giving to everybody. And it happened that there was one Vaishnava, very pure Vaishnava, who came to his court, and then he was asking if he can help him to build a temple for Vishnu. And then he helped him very happily. And they said because of that, he got in contact with Krishna. So then there is a connection between his goodness. I mean, his goodness made him give him something to Krishna. So then because of that, he got bhakti. So but it came through the devotee.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So he attracted Lord's glance or attention by performing some pious activity, which didn't come from bhakti, but actually he was also blessed by another devotee. And Chakragram Prabhu very nicely said how that it's both in terms that we need the mercy of another devotee to get in touch with bhakti. At the same time, we also have work to do. So we will naturally want to cultivate the qualities which will enhance our devotional service, which will actually help us to perform better devotional service. And it just reminds me of one statement a friend made a few days ago, said, you can't say there's one devotional service better than the other, because devotional service is devotional service. But of course, the inner attitude, which we cannot see on the outside, is the one that actually determines how this would be pleasing to the Lord. And of course, part of this attitude is also that we want to advance, we want to become better human beings and become more conscious, like Mother Nikunja said, that, we actually want to make the endeavor. Yes, Gita.
Yeah, sorry, my granddaughter gave me the mic before asking. Okay, thank you. No, I was pointing my finger. Yes, if it is about mercy and bhakti, I just got a realization of Damodarastakam. So, Yashoda Maharani trying to bind Krishna, Damodar, with a rope, and it was 2 fingers too short. And both the fingers, they represent your own endeavors. That's the one. She was perspiration. So they're your own endeavor. So you have to do your best. You have to do everything. Take all your responsibilities for Krishna. So yes, you have to do something, definitely. And then the other finger was then the Lord claps it with mercy, and then the result will be there.
Beautiful. Yes, indeed. So we see that the Lord shows this with his own example from the pastime of Lord Damodar, that we need both. We need the mercy of another Vaishnava, of the Lord, and also our own endeavor. And so I'm really grateful for your input, because I didn't plan this in the class. So it's always good to turn some and learn in this way from each other. So definitely cultivating the mode of goodness is a part of us trying to advance as well on the path of devotional service. I always like to see how the material world is designed in a way that actually we get purified. This is not an extra endeavor that we need to take, right? It is not an endeavor that we need to cultivate, because it's there, it's present in the scheme of the material world. So it is up to us to find a way of how to serve better, and how to, of course, stay in touch with the mercy of the devotees, stay in touch with the purity and the bhakti and the love that they have for the Lord, so that we can actually also still keep inspired. And also that we have a compass, because it's very easy to get lost in the material world. There's so many things to do, there's so many things to think about and learn. But at the same time, where is our compass? So it's very important that we have devotees on our path who actually guide us, and with their example, we can actually see what the direction it is to take. What's the proper humility that we actually have to cultivate? That we don't cultivate false humility, for example. I'm sorry, I just see cartels on the floor. Somewhere else. Thank you. So this is something that we actually can do. So to take care of the extra purification, perhaps, is not always needed, because there is already so much going on. And at the same time, to be aware of the potency of the practice. Prabhupada actually said that Bhakti Yoga, practice of devotional service of Bhakti Yoga, is actually a scientific process. Everything is very, very clearly established and analyzed. And if we read the books from the acharyas, it's actually very clear what the process is, how we can advance, what we can do to advance, and what it means when we are advanced, how we can recognize that. So it's a science. So in this way, it's our endeavor definitely to search for that, how to actually practice that scientific process. I wanted to say that the holy name itself is so powerful. Before you were mentioning the samskaras that we have. So somebody actually can perform devotional service in a certain way because of the samskaras that we hold from the past. But if we see the holy name is so powerful, when I first read that, I was so surprised and so in awe, because the holy name itself, if chanted with attention, can scorch millions of samskaras from our past. So the only endeavor that devotee does is actually chant and connect to the holy name. So there's such power that we can't imagine actually how much power this process has, just to connect with the Lord. And therefore, we're not even cultivating mode of goodness. It's actually, Shuddha Sattva, actually connecting to the pure mode of goodness. I wanted to share a little research that I was doing in the past period. It's a little bit unconventional for the Bhagavatam class, but I hope you don't mind. Maybe it will be something that that can be useful. For me, definitely it is. So, and I've met more devotees who see this as useful. In the 90s, there was a group of researchers who actually started to see how connecting to the heart intelligence can actually help one to become more peaceful and connect to the greater wisdom. So they formed an institute. It's called Heart Math Institute. And they actually tried to create all kinds of technologies in scientific world to reduce stress, to improve well-being, just by using the intelligence of the heart. I will say later how this connects to what we're speaking. So they actually researched effects of stress and on the well-being of a person, and how the heart and brain are connected. So they did all kinds of graphs and measured the heart rate variability and also the brain function. And they noticed that if a person can connect to the heart intelligence, to the wisdom that's in the heart, then actually that will create much deeper insights than just understanding things through the intelligence of the mind, or the mind, we say it's separate, right? So they developed some methods where people can actually just connect with breathing to the heart space, and they saw how actually that created in scientific world a coherence. So the heart rate variability was much more, fluent. Usually when you see a person in stress, the heart rate is like this. It's very, very incoherent, or very, very stressed, basically. And when people manage to connect to the heart and breathe and calm down in this way, the heart rate was like really even. And they noticed how that means the heart will actually send signals into the brain, and therefore the brain will be able to think much clearer. This is very scientific now. And they also noticed how there is a connection, so with the thalamus and also the amygdala, which is the center in the brain which corresponds with emotional response. So there is a connection between the heart and the brain, but also the emotional response. So they noticed how this is a very powerful way. Just connecting to the heart will help one to think clearer, but also to be able to control their emotions and be able to choose a response that they want in the world when there is something triggering them. This is called heart coherence, and it actually means that the synchronization of the heart and the mind is present. Then they went further. They even researched how if one connects to the heart, he can or she can actually connect to other people whom they have a relationship with just based on the heart. And they can actually have the same coherence established in the heart just by connection and thinking of another person. So that's interesting. We would say nothing unusual. We can also see that how when we're peaceful, when we're prayerful and insightful, we can actually think clearer and we might actually get more insights. Now the thing that they missed is, of course, that understanding that we have, that in the heart, the Lord is also present. So the deeper wisdom that they were connecting with, the devotee naturally connects with the Lord in the heart, right? So we have actually access to much more wisdom in this way. I was thinking, should we do a 1 minute, 2 minutes exercise, which actually they give for people to actually connect to the heart coherence. You can keep your eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. And this is something that one can do at any point in life. Like it can be, when something happens or just, before starting to do any activity, when we need to calm down. So we can just connect to the heart. It's easier for me to close my eyes and just observe the breathing and just have a couple of deep breaths. And just observe the breathing. You want to do it with us? Yeah. And just inhale like deeper. And then just imagine as if you're breathing with your heart. So we can notice how our chest is expanding and our heart space is expanding in this way. And now recall a person that you appreciate very much in life. Somebody that's very dear and you appreciate so much that you feel the heart is full when you think about them. So in this state, this is basically the exercise. It also helps to hold the heart space, like physically. So this is the exercise, and we could actually ask how, if we think about some situation that we have in life, how would we react just coming from this heart space? And many times the responses are, we get many more ideas or different insights into how we can respond in a certain situation when we're calm and connected. With the heart intelligence. And I personally love it because I feel this is so much closer for us to understand how Krishna is present rather than thinking, I have to do everything and analyze things on my own and figure things out. So, this is just a short experience. So when we are freed from this reactivity, so the point is that when we live in the mode of, just passion, which the world is actually designed to hold, the predominant mode is mode of passion and ignorance, then naturally there's reactivity. Naturally, when we go about the day, there's a lot of things which happen and we will just react to the things that happen. And in this way, when we can actually, center and just become conscious of where we are, what we're doing, we can perhaps have a much more creative and intuitive response towards others. So, and in this connection about being conscious, I just wanted to, the last point I wanted to make is Sachinandana Swami likes to speak about the Frankenstein. Maybe you all know this story of Frankenstein, who was basically a scientist, and he wanted to bring a dead body to life. So according to the movie that was produced in... The movie was done here. It was done here, Frankenstein? Yeah. Or was it the Dracula? I think it was the... Yeah. Yeah. So... Krishna's inspiration. So the scientist Frankenstein wanted to make the body alive by having a lightning bolt shooting through it. And Sachinandana Swami likes to speak about that, we can be like dead bodies and performing so many things and doing so many activities in life if we don't become alive in Krishna consciousness and actually start to consciously understand what we're doing and feel what we're doing and, become conscious of what's going on. And of course, he also speaks about chanting, how we can chant dead names, empty names of Hare Krishna. But if we are actually connected properly and enlivened, we will actually feel the effect of the holy name, Krishna being present while we chant. So just for reflection, I wanted to ask a question. What is it for us personally that actually really makes us alive in bhakti? You know, each one of us has something that really, when we perform this activity, we feel so alive, we feel so enlivened and inspired, and it's like as if time would stop and we would be able to do just that. It could be a small thing, you know, or you know, just helping somebody else, some other devotee in need, doing some different service, milking the cows, cleaning the floor. It could be something that really resonates with us and we feel very much enlivened by that activity. And I think that's really important to realize what these activities are, so we can actually see how bhakti acts when we feel enlivened. And we can see that this is the way we actually have to search for ways that Krishna inspires us in the heart of what to do. For me, it's always enlivening to be able to just read Bhagavatam when I'm preparing for the class. And that's the time when I say to everybody, okay, I really need time now. I cannot also address the children and do this and that, but will be just the time when I read and reflect, and it's something that I'm really grateful for. And taking Maharaj's advice, it's so good to know what are the things that actually really, really inspire and makes us alive in bhakti, like that. So that's all I wanted to share today. If there is something that you'd like to add, I'll be very happy, or any comments or reflections. And we still have maybe 10 minutes, something like that. And then, yes. Do you have a microphone?
I liked very much the last point of appreciation and gratitude. So then, coming back to the story of Lord Vishnu, so his heart was very, you can see that his mentality was very much of respect and gratitude, and he was protected from of course, he doesn't need protection because he is already on the topmost platform, but the others, they were responded from the false ego platform, and they were not protected. That was the result of that, that actually they reacted. So this sense of gratitude, it is very empowering, very, very empowering. And it comes from, realizing, or being self-realized, so that, that's, if sometimes I'm in this mood, I really feel like it's very, very empowering. Yeah.
Thank you. So sense of gratitude is something that really helps us propel, right?
Yeah.
To feel gratitude.
Yeah, and it is also teachable. Like you see how Brigham Muni was, was so much. He learned so. It transformed him, So then, if there was the response from Brahma and response from Shiva, there was anger, and or controlled, but it was not really controlled because it was in the mind that Brahma was. It did feel frustrated, and it was expressed, but not externally, but internally. So it was there, and it was destructive. But in the case of Lord Vishnu, there was no false ego there, and it was that's why and then it was so much of transformational, for Brigham Muni. So this also, like I was thinking, like when we try to fix something, this is so the mood that we have, or the mentality, or the response that we have. So if it's really based on seeing the good in others, or being positively seeing the soul, it's like when somebody's on the highest level, they see actually the devotee in the person. And I just was thinking about it.
Thank you. Yeah, even Lord Vishnu was actually, Krishna, this pastime was teaching about the culture of love and respect. he was teaching with his own example, and yeah, that's very enlivening as well. I think Mother Nikunja had something.
With the Bhakti Vaibhava, we are studying the 4th chapter, canto, and it's also about Bhrigu Muni. He's involved, and Lord Shiva, Brahma, they're all being tested. And I was just wondering about the sages. I mean, we are just coming from the street, and we learn that, you know, Vishnu is supreme, and you know, these things we know. They're doing all these yagyas, and they still want to go test, see what's going on, who is now the supreme. And of course, I understand it's Bhagavatam, and this is the way we get to know these things. But Bhrigu Muni was involved there also, right? Because Daksha was cursing, and then Bhrigu Muni was also cursing, counter-cursing, and basically, but there was one of the questions Shavananda gave us, say, what is Srila Prabhupada up against? To, you know, because everyone was cursed to be the lowest of the lowest, and forget everything, and you know, in any spiritual life would be impossible in this age of Kali. We're all cursed. So I wonder did that happen before or happened after? Of course, there's no chronological order, but at the same time, yeah, we are all affected by these curses, really. So for us to do an endeavor, it's even more important, and that endeavor, and then getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it's like essential.
Exactly.
Because Bhrigu Muni cursed all of us, and Daksha.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know which happened before and what happened, but probably a lot of curses and then counter curses and blessings. And what is more powerful? So I always imagine how my small brain cannot comprehend of all this, you know, complex how it works in the universe with the empowerment or blessings and so on. But yeah, like you said, we definitely need mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And I wanted to chant this verse, but I forgot. Just by remembering Lord Chaitanya, everything is, even whatever is impossible becomes possible. And by forgetting Lord Chaitanya, actually, whatever is impossible, whatever is possible becomes impossible. So it's like definitely the aspect that, we are blessed in this way, because in Kali Yuga, perhaps all these curses and, you know, our disqualification is actually because of the power of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and because of the power of the holy name. It's more irrelevant. I wouldn't dare to say irrelevant, but more irrelevant, because if we have the most powerful Lord who actually only wants to establish loving relationship with us, and you know, the way to please him is to offer service to him in our, you know, weakness and whatever we have, all the shortcomings. That's actually amazing. So in this way we do stand a chance, no matter how many times we were cursed, perhaps.
And then the gratitude of Srila Prabhupada took the effort to come and fulfill the desire of his spiritual master and come and save us. Right?
Thank you.
Yes, a small addition. Thank you. My Guru Deo, His Holiness Kadambakanana Swami, used to say, forget it. Don't think you can make it on your own. You can never ever make it on your own. No one of us. It is you, plus it is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And he said, we are living in the age of Kali, hypocrisy, but actually this is the most fantastic age. It's the golden age, because the Lord presents himself with not a little bit mercy, but the mercy is unlimited. So he said, if you do your best and your endeavors, somehow or other, If the front door of Krishna is closed, Prabhupada will come and say, no, this is my man, come in. Yes?
Amazing. Thank you for reminding us of Maharaj. Yes, thank you so much. I think this was a beautiful... Yes? You have... Okay, thank you. Yes, please. Chakragram Prabhu. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so definition of bhakti is sarvopadi vinirmuktam, is to get rid of all designations of this material world. I remember Prabhupada, when he was in America, one time in an interview he was saying that, Krishna is saying sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja, but all these boys and girls, sarva dharman parityajya, they already did. They gave up all dharma, which is actually, we think light of it. But in my case, I feel it's a blessing. I didn't have to give up any dharma, no family traditions, no religion, no culture. I didn't have culture, I didn't have religion, I didn't have a family tradition. So sarva dharma parityajya, that's already done. And Krishna says, and then Prabhupada says, but I came to say, mamekam saranam braj, Dharma is already given up, now only accept Krishna. Yeah. So I think that's very nice. We don't have any qualifications. And many times we say it maybe as a cliche, but it's a fact. Our only qualification is the fact that we are completely disqualified, unqualified. And because of, if we feel that we are not qualified, then Lord Chaitanya, he takes us. As soon as we think we are a little bit qualified, okay, then you do it. Right? But we feel so unqualified. If that is really a genuine feeling, like, I like this comment, there's all these sages who are so advanced, they couldn't figure out who is supreme. The philosophy, you can see that in the gathering of Maharaj Parikshit. You had literally thousands of sages, and they were arguing amongst each other. No, this should be the path, this should be the path. They all disagreed. And Sukadeva Goswami came and he defeated all the 6 philosophies. And he said, it's only bhakti. So I think that is our greatest credit and blessing, is that we are completely unqualified.
Yes, thank you. And completely unqualified, and still we always have a matter of choice of what we will do and how we will actually, what we will associate with or whom we will associate it with. So choosing to listen to Bhagavatam class from Srimad Bhagavatam, imagine we have insight into all these beautiful conversations and exchanges, and Prabhupada is, exactly. By Prabhupada's mercy, we actually have insight into that, and our heart can change, and our attraction can grow. So I want to thank you very much for your patience and your input. It was very valuable for me. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Pramanande.